Hi, Tomeka. It's Amber. I thought it would be easier for me to do a quick little video recording tutorial just so that you could see what I'm doing on my computer. And maybe this will help you be able to get where you need to go to program your Dash robots. So the first thing I'm doing is going to makewonder.com. This is the teacher side of the Dash robots. So you may remember this is where your subscription account information is stored. So I'm assuming that you've already been in here, but you would want to log in. And if you haven't done so yet, basically what it's doing is just gives you an opportunity to set up a class, store your students in that class, and then view their progress as they move through certain activities. So that's the first thing that it's going to suggest that you do over on the left-hand side is to set up your classroom. The next piece is tracking the progress of the Blockly puzzles. So once you have kids enrolled in a class, this is kind of what it looks like. You can see how they're moving through each of the levels. There are a ton of puzzles. You can have them do all of them if you want to, or do none of them. It will give them kind of a good background info, I guess, or a good starting place on how to program. So it's definitely worth doing at least this first level, which is called Driving School, and I'll show you where the kids access that in just a minute. The other features that you find in here down the left-hand side are really pretty great. The coding pathways, for now, I would skip. That's not my favorite part of Make Wonder. You can assign students activities based on the level that they're at. I just don't like where it falls in the order here, so skip that one for now. The challenge cards are fantastic. So once kids have done the puzzles and they have a basic understanding of how to program the Dash robot, you can go in and assign these challenge cards. This one is rather important to choose kindergarten if they're all starting in the same place and they've never used the robots before. That might seem kind of off, but they're brand new to it. So they're in order, really, like level 1 is kindergarten. So based on what you want them to access, my computer doesn't want to play along here. There are lots of cards. There we go. So I want to find card 1-1. That would be the first activity that I would assign to kids. Goodness, it's not playing friendly. Okay, here's card 1-1. I don't know why they're not in order, but they're not. If I click on card 1-1, I'm going to see all the information about it, and it's teaching them like the very basics of coding and programming, sequencing, how to put things in the correct order. So you can view it as the students would view it, and then you can assign it here, which allows you to select your classroom and then which students you would want to have that assignment. So once it's assigned, it's sent off to them virtually, and then when they access it on their device, I'll show you what that looks like here in a minute, but you'll be able to see that assignment. So in addition to that, on the left-hand side, they actually have math activities now. All of the focus for Wonder Workshop has been going into these math activities. They are only for 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade, but you can choose the grade level and then specific concepts, but the assignments are really cool. And they use a robot for every single one of them, and there are tons and tons of them. So this is worth looking into if at some point you want to utilize the robot in math. And then what you have down here at the bottom is Blockly Pro. You don't have to worry about that right now. That is more middle school, and it's part of your subscription. So you have it because you have a subscription, but otherwise you probably would not utilize it at all. The last thing that I want to point out on this page is this curriculum button up here across the top. There is a full-fledged curriculum for Dash. So it looks like this. It's called Learn to Code. There are these 6 levels. So if I click on level A, even though, again, technically it says it's for kindergarten and 1st grade, that's for everyone starting out with a robot. So if you wanted access to a true lesson plan, this is where you would come get it. There's materials, items you can download, and then when you get down here is like your actual lesson plan. So if I click on these, it's going to tell me what to say, what to do, and walk you through a step-by-step lesson. So that is really helpful, but you may not necessarily want to dive into that. The thing that I love in the curriculum is the cross-curricular library. This is a library full of ideas of teachers have submitted, things they're doing in their class. So this is kind of cool just to look through. You can again search by subject and grade level to just see what might be available after they have done the puzzles, after they have an idea of what coding looks like. You could jump into some of these things. So something to think about. So on the student side, they would go to code.makewonder.com/landing. And so that address will get them here to this page. So on their own, I believe they have Chromebooks. So on their Chromebooks, this is what they would see. They would click on dash and dot and then Blockly. And this is where it brings them to. So a couple things. Puzzles is going to be flashing because Make Wonder wants them to start with the puzzles. That's if they have a class and you've created a class for them in Make Wonder. If you haven't created a class, they can still access the puzzles, but it won't keep track of their progress. And I'm pretty sure that if they did say 5 or 6 puzzles, they came back the next day and logged in, it would take them back to the first one, I believe. In addition to that, what you're going to see here is the assignments button. So if the kids have an assignment waiting for them, this is where you would access it. So I don't have that set up with my particular account, but it would give them a little bubble with a number that shows them that they have some assignments to do, and they would know to go in there to complete them. So for Programming Dash, this is where you want to go to My Projects and then Create New. It will automatically be on Blank Project, and that's the one we want for now. And that brings us to the Blockly screen. So this is where programming takes place, and it really is pretty easy to figure out. They'll get really good at this really quickly because they're just more intuitive with technology than me or adults. But all of the commands, the programming commands, are down this left-hand side, and they are in order from easiest to most difficult. So for example, you're going to see that when you open Blockly, there's always a green Win Start button that will always be there. That's basically telling the robot, hey, you need to perform a task. There are other options for the way to start a program, but I just have kids use the green Win Start button every single time. So the next command is for driving, and these are going to be all of your commands related to motion, movement, driving. Forwards, backwards, left, right. So these are the most common things students will use. So a couple things. If you notice, the blocks click together, and you can hear it click, which is kind of cool. Anything that's inside of a square can be changed. So if I click on this, it's going to give me the option to change the distance in centimeters or change the speed. So anything with a square can be changed. That's good for them to learn pretty quickly. So other common things, I might want them to measure a certain distance and then complete a task. They would need a tape measure or a meter stick of some kind to help them with that measurement part in centimeters. That's important. So all my drive commands, then my look commands, because the robot's head moves. Then he's got several lights. So again, if I want all of his lights to turn on and I want them to turn a certain color, I can just choose the box and select the color. Then we get into sounds. He makes all types of interesting sounds, animals. So if you click on it again, I can see all the animal sounds that are in there. Let's change it to a dinosaur for fun. And then in addition to this, so transportation sounds, weird sounds, but this My Sounds button is really a great feature. So the robot itself can hold up to 10 recordings of student voices. So if I click on the My Sounds button, then here are my 10 recordings. If I wanted to make a recording, I would click it. It's wanting me to pair right now, so I can't do that because I don't have a robot with me. But once the robot's paired, then I can record directly to the robot. So that's really helpful in certain activities. For example, the one that's in the curriculum is creating a series of planets, the order of the planets, and then they measure the distance from one planet to the next, and then the robot records a sound, a fact about the planet when he gets there. So that's a fun feature. Animations is just fun stuff, dancing, different types of greetings that he does, expressions that he says. When you get into controls and variables, these are going to be the more challenging parts of coding. So for example, if I click on controls, I've got some options. Things that kids will figure out is if they want the robot to say go 500 centimeters and it can only go 100 at a time, they've got to put a move forward block 100 centimeters in there 5 different times. And they'll realize their programs will start to get really long. So one of the things they'll notice is I can go and add a control. I can put this one inside of there and repeat it 5 times. And now, instead of having 6 blocks, say, I only have 2. So it just shortens the program just a little bit. There are also controls in here about how Dash will react to something that's in front of him. And so you can program him to have certain reactions or say certain things when he runs into something. Variables is last because variables is the most difficult. This is where you are setting a value to a specific object so that when the robot does something, he reacts in a certain way based on the program that you've created, the value you've assigned to those things. So it's really kind of bizarre and it's very much upper level. So if this is intimidating, don't even mess with it right now. But it's kind of fun to play around with. But I could set orange to be a value of 2, banana to be a value of whatever I want it to be. And then I can incorporate these fruits into certain things that I do. So for example, the Dash robot comes with a styrofoam dice, and you could program Dash to be a part of a game kids are playing, and every time he rolls the dice, he multiplies it by 2. So some type of multiplication activity, something like that. So again, it's just a little on the more deeper side. I don't encourage teachers to start with that right away. You can kind of work up to that. And if kids are going through the curriculum or doing the challenges, that's like level F stuff. So they'll eventually get to that. If I want to delete something, this is always kind of weird, but here's my program and I don't want this anymore. There's a trash can that's going to appear when I start to drag. So it's not there and then it appears. The lid will open and I can trash that particular item. The last thing that is important that you'll want to know about is the accessories tab. So you should have access to all 3 of these accessories, I believe. The launcher, the sketch kit, and a gripper. And these are the places where you have to come to make those accessories work. So to load the launcher or to change the power on the launcher, to move the marker up and down as it's writing, or to open and close the gripper, that's what rolls the dice. You would come here for accessories. So right there, I have created a program. If I was doing this in my classroom, then that group of students would go to this plus, they would click on it and it would search for a robot via Bluetooth, and the name of the robot would come here and I would click on pair and then I would be ready to go. So I don't currently have a robot with me to do that. But that's the basics of programming. It's literally coming here, choosing the blocks that you want to put together to create your program, and then running it to see if it works. So hopefully that helps. And if you have more questions or need more information, just let me know. Thanks.